He lives.
I did my whole introduction and no one could hear it.
Oh, dang.
All right, no worries. So, welcome back to the wonderful galaxy of Grimmerspace, where everything is wonderful and nothing bad happens to anyone. Uh, we are going to conclude the final chapter of Abattoir 8, which is the published adventure for Grimmerspace, a Starfinder compatible tabletop role playing game, a horror game specifically. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Perfect. So since it's been a minute since we have gotten together to play this game, let me just kind of briefly summarize the events that have led us to this point. So, our collection of heroes has found themselves on a slingshot ferry, essentially a one-way oxygen-carrying frisbee that is launched into space in an attempt to get off of Lyria Station, where they were stranded for the previous 2 weeks, and has landed on Abattoir 8, which is an agricultural hub contracted through Hunger Incorporated, working for the Adian Combine, one of the polities that governs the crux or the central part of the galaxy of Grimmerspace. That galaxy is called the Gliding Rim Galaxy, which is essentially a pretty large galaxy formation that looks kind of like a screw, where the head of the screw is everything civilized, and then everything, the sharp, twisty part of the screw is just nightmarish horrors. So the Abattoir 8 is normally a pretty civilized part of space. However, when you arrived, you found that everything was in a wreck, nothing was working. There were creepy voice recordings that were going on and flashing emergency lights. And as far as you could tell, the station has been mostly depopulated, except for one audacious member that you had a run across with, named Bargus Thrask. Previously an assistant loading dock manager who seems to be obsessed with getting a promotion, which he believes he will get by stacking a bunch of meat. Thrask seems to work pretty exclusively with his trusty drone Schwang, and they were pretty intent on harvesting you guys, specifically our cop, as meat, when thanks to a daring rescue, that harvesting into meat was interrupted and you guys were able to get away, when you disabled Schwang the drone, and then were able to make a getaway while Thrask decided to repair the drone. So that was essentially our first episode of the story, or actually, guess kind of the episode and a half. After that, you were able to escape through one of the three pathways that leads out of the docking bay, where you took the path that led through essentially the Thunk pens, an area that we called the Symphony of Thunks. So Thunks, everyone's favorite ungulate, is essentially the space version of pigs, and they are harvested for meat in this large silo that essentially is a half-mile high. This might be easier if I add a couple pictures. Let me add a picture of the abattoir itself.
By the way, abattoir is not a made-up word. I can't.
It's a real word.
It's real. I was listening to a book about drug use in Nazi Germany, and they talked about abattoirs for some reason.
Yes. Yeah. They're meat processing storage plants, basically. So Abattoir 8 is the name of the whole station. However, the silo on the left is where all the thunks are kept for fresh meat, and then when they need to be harvested, they are generally loaded down to the bottom of that tower in what's truly called the abattoir, where there are some drones that essentially capture and harvest the thunks to get them ready for processing into different cuts of meat. And again, our Arcop almost met that fate, but was rescued again by our Vody Marine and our Crypto Monk companions, where they then, after disabling the drones using the emergency stop, were able to find a place to shelter and rest amidst all the braying of the thunks and all the smell of the carrion that had built up for the last supposedly couple weeks. They were able to take a break, recover some stamina points, and catch their breath before heading back on up through the maintenance tunnel to get very close to the top of the silo. You're about one turn of the staircase away from getting to the exit. When you got out of the elevator shaft, you had a unwelcome surprise when you looked down and saw that nearly a quarter mile below you, so just less than half of the total distance of the silo, coming up the stairs, riding his trusty drone Schwang, was once again Thrask, back for another shot at trying to get his promotion. And he bellowed the challenge and said, "You meat! You're not going to stop me from getting my promotion!" Upon which our Vody Marine responded,
Hey, bud. Your performance has been unsatisfactory.
which threw him into a rage, and he shouted "No!" and began charging up the stairs. And that's where we left off last time. So I don't think we can. I think that's about as much recap as I can do without introducing our characters themselves. So let's go ahead and start with, since you were the last one to speak, our Vody Marine, Jocko Willwink. Can you just briefly introduce yourself and a little bit about what makes your character tick?
Yeah. I'm Jocko Willwink. I'm a Vody Marine, which means I am a warrior from the planet of Vodakon and the Vodakon Empire. I am a warrior through and through. I have multiple cybernetic implants, including my trusty, my trusty cannon-back, which is a weapon that is literally attached and fused to my spine and comes up over my back and over my shoulder, and fires rounds at a long and short distance. It has become a part of my being, and weapons are kind of my thing. I make my living mostly by kind of aiding travelers as they cross the galaxy and keeping them safe, though I remain super loyal to the Vatican Empire as well.
Very good. And what brings you here onto Abattoir 8 is that you were hired essentially as extra muscle by our detective, our R-Cop, who would be Dick Record. Greg, do you want to introduce a little bit about yourself?
Yes, the aptly named, although not intentionally named, Dick Record is an AR cop. Think Blade Runner. Either one will do. But more along the lines of the first Blade Runner. So trained on the crypt moon of the eminent spectrality. I hunt down fugitives and bring them to justice. I'm a man of few words, and I prefer to let my piece do the talking for me. And my piece is a gun that sings.
Yeah. So I can introduce that. So your piece, which is essentially a specially made gun that can target itself and see out of its own sights, and also inform you of things, named Ferrison Horde. Kind of going along with your Dick Record character, Ferrison Horde is not just a gun, but actually includes about a half-pound of gray matter from a previous deceased R-Cop, who essentially did well enough that on retirement continues to serve in training you as his new partner. And yeah, so he was kind of known as a door kicker in life and continues that afterwards. And does love to sing. Also, one of his personality traits is book. What book? Just kind of does whatever it takes to get the job done. And then of course, the reason that you were brought into the station is because you were hunting down a wanted fugitive, a crypto monk named Rand Hackthor. Remington, are you available to discuss your character?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, yeah, my character is Rand Hackthor. He is a crypto monk. He is trying to prevent an alien race from destroying the galaxy, and he finds their traces in the internet, and also that's how he finds his powers, by hacking through and finding secret martial arts and different tech things that he can produce through his hacking abilities.
Oh, you learn karate through the internet.
Through the internet.
Absolutely. Very good. Okay, so we have one other character that we are going to introduce in just a minute. Hugh, being that you weren't here for the previous 2 sessions involving these characters, do you have any pertinent questions at this point?
Let's just play it out. Good right now.
All right, I like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Do I roll initiative or am I?
Yes, everyone present roll initiative.
Dice.
I got a 10.
Total?
Aggressively average. Yes. Boy, what do I add to initiative?
Let me take a look at your page. You have +0 to initiative, so nothing.
Like I said, aggressively average.
Okay.
All right, so
You're gonna have to refresh me. I got total 1, dex modifier +1. So what do I roll? Add 1 to
yeah,
it.
so your total for initiative is +1. It comes from your dexterity. So whatever you roll, add 1 to it.
Okay. 3. Rough.
3 total.
Nice. 3 total.
And then, sorry, Remington and Greg, what did you guys get?
I got a 13.
13.
17 total.
17. Okay. Yeah, you're never caught napping. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So once again, you guys have just exited the elevator shaft, which you had to climb up because the elevator was inactive. Came to the door. You're in this large cylindrical silo. There is a circling staircase that goes around the outer edge of the silo, leading to one rotation of the staircase above you, a door that presumably leads out of the silo. So, Dick, you're up, and if you remember last time, we get to roll and see in what. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned earlier. The silo is largely malfunctioning because there are all sorts of robotic arms that grab thunk pens and set them back. The thunks in themselves are trying to escape from the cages, and all this cacophony is going on. And so, as you guys are trying to make it up the staircase, you are precariously in danger of finding yourselves treated just like runaway thunks. So I actually this time I'm going to have you guys roll for yourselves. Greg, could you roll a d6?
4.
So your piece kind of says tactically this is a disadvantageous position. We got to get to higher ground. Go. And so you start trotting off up the stairs. As you go, a robotic arm reaches out of the darkness and swings towards you, but instead of hitting you, smashes into a pen that is dangling overhead, and that pen starts swaying and then falls onto the staircase. And you see that the insides of the pen have long ago been smashed, and so a slurry of thunk blood mixed with water and sludgy grain starts emptying out over the stairs onto you. So you are going to need to make me a reflex save to get around the sludge, the bloody sludge.
Nice. Reflex. Okay, got it. Cool. That's a 9.
Okay. So you slip and slide on the sludge as it catches you full in the face, and you realize, oh, it's not just thunk guts and blood and food. There's a little bit of thunk poop in here as well. It's not a pleasant experience. Catches
Yummy.
you full in the face. You start slipping and sliding down the stairs, and you are going to actually slide into the person behind you. Let's see. So that would be Rand Hackthor is the next person in line. So Rand, I need you to make a reflex save at this point.
Okay. Reflex. Yeah, that is a 19. Oh no, sorry. It is. I was looking at Will. That is a 22.
22. Sweet. So that's pretty good. So which we would expect from your graceful monk character. So you actually see Dick sliding down the stairs towards you, and you kind of do a flip up in the air and manage to split your feet across on the stairs up on either side of the gushing slurry that's coming down the stairs, and so you do not end up running into your companion, and he's able to slip to a stop without either of you getting knocked closer to the edge. Meanwhile, Dick, you take 2 points of damage from gashing yourself on the or I guess from the stairs kind of bumping you as you come down. You guys were able to restore all your stamina points from that rest last time, so this shouldn't be digging into your hit points yet.
Nice. So 2 damage from the poop wave. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, Rand. Now that you have flipped yourself up ahead onto the stairs, you're up next.
I'm up next. How far away is he?
Thrask.
Mm-hmm.
He is probably about 1,000 feet down, almost a quarter mile. He's got a long way to go before he's going to catch up with you.
Okay. I guess I'll just keep going.
All right, roll me a d6.
D6. It's a 2.
Okay. So again, as you start making your way up, one of the robotic arms, perhaps even the same one that was attacking your comrade a second ago, reaches out of the darkness, and this time instead of knocking into a thunk pen, which you're ready to clamber over, this time the robot arm swings out and aims for you. Again, I'm going to need a reflex save from you. Should be no problem.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I rolled a 19, I have a +6, so 25.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is, for the rest of everyone who's watching, it is a treat to see this nimble crypto monk just making his way up, gymnastically turning and twirling and jumping across obstacles, clambering with a single bound over the smashed thunk pen and narrowly avoiding the robot arm. Are you just going to double move, or are you going to attempt any action?
Just double move for now.
All right, so you make your way up a good portion of the stairwell, and now we come to Jocko. So you're still next to the elevator door. Are you also just going to head up?
So actually, first thing, I wanted to also kind of perceive where this bad guy is. What was his name again? I'm so sorry.
His name is Bargus Thrask, also known as Big Boy Thrask.
Yeah. I want to know where Big Boy Thrask is and if I can see him.
Yeah, so he's about 1,000 feet down. further down the silo. He's charging up the stairs, riding his. Sorry, hold on.
The children.
Classic Arden.
Sorry about that. My 4-year-old is apparently adept at lock-picking skills. I locked the door and he still managed to get in.
Life finds
Okay,
a way.
so
He rolled a nat 20.
exactly. So, all right. So, yeah. So, Big Boy Thrask. So he's heading up the same stairwell that you guys are, but he's nearly a quarter mile below you. He's currently holding his double-bladed bud saws in each hand. So those won't be a threat unless he manages to catch up with you. But yeah, you can see him. There's nothing obstructing your view of him other than the thunk pens that are kind of dangling throughout the silo.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess what I wanted to perceive was whether or not he has some sort of like technology or something that's helping him control what's going on in the silo and helping him avoid some of the obstacles that maybe we're running into.
That's a good idea. Make a perception check.
Okay, let's see. Perception. I'm good at that.
You are, actually.
I've got a +8. All right, here we go. Okay, yeah, so that's going to be 25.
Sweet. So you're looking down. So one of the things you remember from last time is that Thrask seemed to have some cybernetic implants that made it possible for him to hook into the security camera system. So when you guys were in the docking bay, he was able to see where you were going and where you were coming, and he was able to lock the doors remotely and stuff like that. As he's coming up, you see that the robot arms aren't necessarily avoiding him. He's having to overcome the same obstacles that you are, but he seems to be pretty adept at dodging them. So maybe those implants are helping him to kind of get an idea of where those robot arms are going to hit and give him a better chance of avoiding them. With a perception of 25, the other thing you notice is that slung across his back is what looks like a large gun.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, at 1,000 feet, he's probably well out of my cannonback's range. So I'm not going to worry about shooting him just yet. But I guess with a 25 perception, can I tell if those like cybernetic implants have any sort of like manifestation outside of his body? Like, is it like a data jack that like wraps around his head, like the guys in Star Wars?
Yeah, here, let me share the picture of him just to make sure we're all on the same page. So he does seem to have some wires and things that are attached to some wires and some red lights that are attached to his apron, his slaughterman's jacket. He doesn't seem to have anything that's necessarily plugged into his head or anything, but maybe those implants do have an external manifestation in other places. When you guys were closer up in the loading dock, you were able to see like kind of a glint or a reflection in his eyes. So it seems like he does have implants in his eyes. One of the thing is you do see that because that perception is pretty high, he does have a data pad that is kind of at his hip.
Okay, not attached to him, but like with him.
Yeah, he has a separate data pad.
Okay, perfect. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to go ahead and try to get up to the next level so I can get to the door as well.
I would say so your cannonback has a range increment of 50 feet, which means that you can shoot normally up to 50 feet, and then after that, every 50 feet beyond that adds another penalty. So 1,000 feet down would have a pretty heavy penalty. You would have a very low chance of hitting. You could try, but just with the range on your cannonback, it's probably going to be probably going to be very difficult to aim at that range. So you're just going to try to catch up.
Yeah, with basically a -20 penalty, like I just don't think that's possible. So I'm going to go ahead and just go up with everyone else.
Okay, sounds good. So roll me a d6.
D6. That's going to be a 2.
Oh, so you get the same. So that I guess it's that same arm again, the one that was going for Rand ahead of you, and possibly the same one that went for Dick Record, swings down towards you as you start hustling up the stairs. So go ahead and make me a reflex saving throw as you try to basically build up enough momentum to leap over it.
That's also going to be a 2.
Okay. So let's see. All right. So you're trying to build up enough momentum as you're hustling up the stairs, and as you leap, the robot arm kind of curves up and catches you square in the chest and knocks you towards the railing of the staircase. So you have to now make an athletics check to try and catch yourself, and we'll see how well you are able to stabilize from this.
Okay, athletics. I have +5 to that.
It's pretty good.
So that's going to be 14.
All right. So you're able to catch yourself on the edge of the guardrail. So you're dangling over the edge, but thanks to your prodigious strength, you're not falling any further, and you actually don't take any damage from this either. So this is just going to slow you down a bit.
Okay, deal.
So now we get to Thrask. So I'm going to roll for him and see if any mishaps happen. So I got a 5 for him. Oh, this is the fun one. So he is riding he's riding Shuang, and Shuang leaps up onto a thunk pen that's crashed on the side, and as he's attempting to clamber from there on back onto the staircase, a robot arm reaches out and grabs the thunk pen and brings it up into the silo. It actually lifts the thunk pen a few hundred feet as it brings it up, so he's now about 700 feet away from you guys. And he is brought into the center of the silo, where he now is going to have to jump using Shuang across from pen to pen to make it back to the staircase. So let me see. Because of that acceleration, he's probably going to take a little bit of damage. He takes 1 damage. So you see him accelerated up at a rapid rate on the inside of the pen, or on the inside of the silo, and then when he stops, he's off balance a little bit, but then you see a glint in his eyes as he turns and looks around the silo and locks onto you guys, and he says, "You meet. You think you can cost me my promotion? You think you can tell me that my job is unsatisfactory? Well, I haven't been through all this just to get into a dead-end job in the middle of nowhere space. Eat this!" And he holsters the double-bladed saws on either side of Shuang. You can see they fit into his saddle, and he unslings the gun from across his back. And you can, Jocko, you actually, with your military training and proficiency, and also with your high perception, you actually see that this rifle that he's carrying has a rather large scope. And I kid you not, he actually has a sniper rifle.
A Borg zombie with an MFing sniper? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you guys could have found it or in the docking bay if you had snooped around a little bit more.
Where did this industrial butcher go to sniping, training?
So, Dick Record actually, you may remember that when you were seeing his moves back in the docking bay as he was hunting you guys, you actually recognized that his moves were from someone who maybe has military or otherwise investigator training.
Well, crap.
So I have a special dice that I use for certain occasions. It's a big dice that lights up when I roll a natural 20, and it's currently lighting up at me.
No.
Well, crap.
So he basically lines up his shot, and he gets about a -6 penalty because of the distance that he's aiming at. But with a natural 20, that's not going to stop him. So he is going to take a quick gaze into his into the scope of his sniper rifle. Take a deep breath, hold it, and squeeze the trigger, and a shot rings out through the silo, echoing and for a moment silencing all the thunks as it streaks up through the stairway and is going to strike Rand Hackthor right in the rib cage.
Oh no, Bob.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen any instances of someone getting shot with a sniper rifle, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I can't say that I've witnessed that.
Yeah, I've never really been around, to be honest.
I saw a documentary about it. It was called like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's by Ken Burns, right? Yeah. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I saw a documentary too. It's called Every Day of My Halo Career. What? Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So that critical sniper rifle hit deals 22 damage.
Oh,
Nikes.
Piercing.
there's all my stamina points.
Yeah.
And then we hear him cry out from below, "One sniper kill. Ah.
All right. So a pretty devastating shot. Now you guys are kind of seeing how in a silo or in a space station where everyone went crazy and started attacking each other, why this is, as far as you've met, the only survivor. This is a guy who is trained to survive. So that shot rings out. It echoes pretty much through the silo. There's maybe some gasps from those witnessing when this happens, as a huge bloody hole is torn open in our crypto monk's ribs. And someone else hears the echoing shot and is tired of all these interruptions. We see the door that exits from this silo opens up, and someone steps out through the doorway with the light from the hallway behind him kind of spilling out into the chamber. Hugh, would you like to introduce and kind of describe a little bit for us your character?
What's all this racket? Well, my name is Herbe Twest. I am a graduate from the galaxy's most esteemed establishment, that establishment being ITT Technical Institute. I am a government scientist who has been involved in very many shady projects. I don't know if any of you have heard of Space Area 51 or Space Roswell.
You may remember me from my work from Space Area 51. I'm Troy McClure.
ITT Tech, the Harvard of tech schools.
You know, in the far future, it has become the most established of all of the non-professional degrees. I guess it is professional, but not in the sense of, being like an actual degree.
Professional, unprofessional degrees.
Professional, unprofessional degrees. I tend to stay out of trouble, but I have been involved in many a shady project. And I am, and as a side note, I am a recombinator. I can use different gene keys on myself and change what matter I can grow from my body. So, yeah, it's never comfortable, but it's very useful.
Sweet. So you step out into out of your hallway. So you've actually also been trapped here on this station for a couple weeks. Luckily, you were holed up in a lab just down the hall, a laboratory just down the hall from the control center, where you had very secure locks and things like that. And so, with your own system kind of off the grid, per your specifications. And so you were able to hole up and protect yourself with plenty of supplies while the rest of the station was going crazy, figuring you would just basically wait it out. Your supplies have started to run low, though. You have about a week left. And so when you hear something new happening, it doesn't sound like the normal crazies just out in the hallway clawing at the door. You open up to try and investigate. And so you come out here and you see what looks like a few survivors running away from Bargus Thrask, whom you recognize from the docking bay as one of the as one of the employees there, seems to be firing a gun at them, and it looks like he has injured one of the survivors. Which, you having medical skills, you know that you can tell from the wound that he's received, it looks pretty grievous.
Well, I need to get out of here, and these guys look like if I just try to jump in with them, that my best chance out of here. I'm gonna starve at some point. Can't eat raw space pig forever. Okay. So I opened up the hall, and I'm just like right next to them. Is that
So again, they are coming up the stairs towards you. They're
okay?
about there's basically one rotation around the silo of the staircase,
Okay.
and Rand, the crypto monk who just got shot, he was the furthest up, so he was about halfway up the stairs, basically on the other side of the stairwell from you. So you have a clear view of him. So a couple things that you could do. You have this isn't on your character sheet, but because of all your alchemical scientific stuff you've been doing, you do have a few vials of volatile chemical you could try and toss down the stairwell at Thrask. Or there's a computer terminal built in the wall next to the doorway where you came in. You could try to mess around with that and see if you could do anything to impede Thrask from shooting at them. Or you could try and head down, or maybe send your your Frankensteinian creation, your chimera, down to maybe try and go pick up some of these survivors and help bring them closer to you, or some combination maybe.
I'm going to try to slow down Thrask by accessing the terminal next to me.
Okay, so you would need to make a computers check. Let's see. Computers is not your strong suit, but you do have a +3. Actually, you have a +4 because it's an
+4.
intelligence-based skill, and you get a bonus on that.
Okay. Is the okay? Where what would I have to do for the chemicals one? All right, toss it down.
Yeah, exactly. So you'd be tossing it down. So because he's about 700 feet down, you again would have a pretty severe penalty. So I think for that it would be about a -10 to the attack. And you get
Let's go for the terminal then.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have +4.
Ring the doorbell.
Okay.
Did your child break in again? He's a rogue.
Yeah, not only did he pick the lock, but I put a barricade up against the door, and somehow he managed to pull that away and open up the door. So give me a quick moment. I think I'm going to put the barricade on the inside of the door this time.
He is persistent.
There. If that doesn't keep him out, I need to legitimately start training this boy to go on adventures and break into tombs and stuff. All right. So what roll did we get on the computers check?
What do I roll? D20?
Yeah, D20 and add 4.
Okay, so 17.
Oh, that's pretty good. So you are able to localize the pen that Thrask is on, and you knock another pen into it. So he's going to have to make a reflex save to stay stable. I got an 11 for him. So he's actually going to get knocked. So he's actually going to get knocked off the pen and fall a little further down. He's going to have to make an athletics check to stay on. And believe it or not, I got another nat 20 for him. So he's able to stabilize, but he falls maybe another 20 feet down and takes some more damage. And I guess Schwang would take some damage too. So pretty good move overall. So he's gonna have to stabilize to recover from that. So that was your action. You do have your chimera if you want to order them to do anything.
Okay. Is he big enough to like pick up the guy that just got
Yeah,
sniped in the face?
absolutely.
Okay.
He's your chimera is medium size and pretty buff.
Okay. I'd like to send him, go assist, go pick him up.
Okay. All right.
What
So
do I roll?
he's gonna head down. Let me roll a d6 to see if anything happens with the mechanical arms and the pens.
Oh yeah.
Someone needs to come in the house, Dad.
He's done it again. Arden has broken in again.
So you're gonna open the door for him?
Let's see. So as he's clambering down the stairwell, there is another pen.
You need to come in.
Sorry, hold on a second. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we got him set up, so we should be good. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Taylor.
Okay, sounds good. All right. So so as your chimera, which by the way, did you name your chimera?
I have not named him. Don't want to get too attached,
In this line of work, that's probably a good idea. So as he starts making his way down the stairs, he clambers over a crashed thunk pen, and it looks like there's a dead thunk inside, but when he starts climbing over, it turns out to be very much alive and snaps out and tries to bite him. What is... I can actually look it up. Your chimera's kinetic armor class.
Oh boy.
That's on the notes section on the third page.
Chimera kinetic armor.
So KAC is the
15.
kinetic armor class. That's 15.
Yeah.
So this thunk does not roll high enough to bite it. So it basically, the thunk comes, rouses itself, tries to jump at the cage to try and bite, to get a bite to eat, and it smashes against the bars of the thunk pen, and essentially, let's see. It crashes into the bars of the thunk pen, crashes through, and hurtles out of the window and falls down the tunnel, going down falling down thousands of feet into the inky blackness below. But your chimera, it misses your chimera entirely, so you're able to make it. So your chimera is able to make it to Rand Hackthor. So Rand.
Yeah.
So you are bleeding and injured pretty bad, but I believe still conscious. You still have a few hit points, right?
Yeah, I have 10 left.
Okay, so you're awake as this creature, this Frankensteinian creature, lumbers towards you. I don't think that Herbe Twest has said anything necessarily towards you. Do you have any reaction to this thing coming towards you?
Just like cough up a little bit of blood and just be like, oh shoot.
All right, so we'll resolve. I guess we'll resolve that in a minute because it only has enough movement to get to you. So pretty good turn overall. We come back around to the top of the round. Dick Record, you have slid down in a little bit of sludge, but otherwise none the worse for wear.
All right, so do I see this Frankenstein thing?
Yeah, you see it up maybe like a quarter turn of the stairs ahead.
And it just walked right up to a Rand Hackthor.
Yeah, it lumbered up to him, but it's just barely reached him. It hasn't really had a chance to interact with him yet.
Okay, what does it look like?
Hugh, you can describe whatever he looks like. So this is essentially a creature that you grew in a vat to serve you. It's medium size. Other than that, details are up to you.
Jeez, I can't remember when I made him. His head's a narwhal, so he's got a giant spike on his head. but like friendly looking narwhal, and the body of a polar bear. So it's got like an Arctic theme to it.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep.
And then is Thrask still on? Is he on like a container that's floating in the center of the silo, or is he on the stairwell again?
No, he's still on a thunk pen.
Okay, can I trace the how is that thing suspended? Is it suspended by like a chain that goes all the way to the ceiling?
There are actually this is so cool. So the picture that I shared of Thrask, where he's actually standing on a thunk pen, that's probably the best representation of what's kind of going on. I would say the picture doesn't really answer the question very well. What I envision, and from the description in the adventure, is essentially there are crossbars all throughout the silo, and there are cables hanging from those crossbars under which the thunk pens are suspended.
Okay. And there are a lot of cables that are suspending this thing. Then
there's a lot.
My question. Okay. All right. Then, I mean, this thing looks pretty freaky, and this guy up ahead hasn't said anything, right? So I have no idea what this thing is.
I would say that you were able to tell that there was a sequence of events where he pushed some buttons on a number pad, and a thunk pen knocked into Thrask. So you would guess that he's not helping Thrask, at least.
Okay. And okay, I'm gonna try and get up to where Rand is and like position myself between him and this thing.
Gotcha. So yeah, let's roll again, see if anything happens.
Want me to roll?
Oh yeah, go for it.
A 5. The fun one.
Yeah. Oh golly gee. Okay, so I'm tired of landing on this one, so I'm gonna give you a chance to make an athletics check, or actually, you know what? I'll get a reflex save to avoid getting drawn up into the center of the room.
I mean, what about an acrobatics check?
I will let you do an acrobatics check. That would be DC 15.
Well, I got a 16.
Hey, how about it? All right. So yeah, so that pen that unleashed all the sewage onto you, as you're climbing over that one, a robot arm, probably that same robot arm, reaches out and grabs the pen and tries to pull you into the middle, and you do a kind of a corkscrew anime jump off of it, doing a 3-point landing onto the stairwell just beyond it, and manage to avoid getting pulled into the center of the room. And then you're able to run the rest of the way up to catch up with Rand. When you do, you said you were going to try and put yourself between the monster and Rand.
Yeah.
This narwhal-headed creature. So as you start to edge in and make that intention clear, your piece says, strategically, it'd probably be better to use this guy as cover. He is a perp, after all.
Use Rand as cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bounty was not dead or alive. It's alive, and I can't bring back a bag of mush.
He grumbles, but assents that you're right.
But I do brandish him in the general direction of the narwhal. And say, I don't know, I guess I can see this guy up above. And I tell him, so I just shout up to him, "You up there, what the hell is this thing, and who the hell are you? Talk before I start shooting."
I respond, "That's my Narbear. We'll be very kind to him. Also, I'm trying to get out of here, and it seems like you have the same goal, I propose a temporary truce where we work together to get out of here. Temporary alliance.
Okay, so this polar wall is not going to smash me, is what you're telling me.
No, but he's great for transportation if anyone's hurt.
All right, then giddy up.
Sweet. Rand, you're up next.
I'm up next.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Is there anything that I could like break or something to knock onto Thrask?
That's a good idea. You do have a laser rifle. You could try to shoot through one of the cables that is holding up one of these thunk pens up here, because Thrask is the only one below you guys.
Okay. Yeah, because I have destructive insight, so I get like a +5.
Ooh, that is so genius. You absolutely do get that.
Cool.
Way to use your new abilities. Go for it.
Okay.
So you're just gonna make an attack, and you're gonna get a +5 on it.
Okay. So that's an 18 plus
9.
9. Okay, so
You get
7,
plus
27.
4 for your attack bonus, and then +5 for the destructive insight. That's this is beautiful. So yeah, so you start pulling out your azimuth laser pistol or laser rifle, and the Narbear kind of grumbles a little suspiciously, and you pull out your laser rifle, and instead of aiming at the beast, you shoot straight for one of those cables, and absolutely you knock one of the. So you shoot through a single cable that's holding a thunk pen, and there's 2 thunks that are inside of it. They start just screaming in a horrified way as you're using their safety, their enclosure against them, taking away their safety, and they start hitting the cross beams and tumbling as they go down. There are 4 thunk pens that are just knocking into the other pens.
Promote that, you bastard.
The main thing that he has to dodge is the actual Adian Combine produced thunk pens. That's the real danger. So he only gets a 16 against that. So he's going to take some damage, and he's going to get knocked further down the silo. Let me see if he can make an athletics check to catch on to something. And then one for Schwang. So Thrask and Schwang get a direct hit from one of these crates. It knocks them apart. So Thrask is knocked off of Schwang. Schwang goes in a different direction, and as they start tumbling down, Schwang essentially clambers onto the edge of the top of a thunk pen, and it's tipping it in one direction, and then Thrask ends up trying to catch the other side of the same pen, and the momentum of him swinging down catapults Schwang up into the air and lands also on top of that pen, and the strain of that is enough that it snaps the cable, and they start tumbling down, and you hear Thrask shouting as he's falling on the way down, that position is mine! This is the worst cuts of meat. You're not even worth. He gets smashed into by another crate. You see, it's pretty far down and starting to get pretty dark, but it looks like he's injured pretty bad. And then you hear this extreme cacophony as it sounds like the whole mess strikes the bottom of the silo, and you're not sure if he could have survived falling that far down. So all in all, I'd say that was a pretty good shot.
Nice. I'll be
no
like,
kidding.
we're going to the top, and I'll make a rude gesture at him, and then I'll use my movement to head towards the entrance or the exit.
I'm sure with his implanted cybernetics, he's able to see that rude gesture. So, okay, so you took that shot, and then there's the Narbear in front of you. What are you gonna? Are you gonna
I'm just
accept
gonna.
his assistance?
Yeah, I'll accept his assistance.
Okay, all right. You come in for a bear hug.
Cuddle a narwhal.
Nice. Who wouldn't? Jocko, you're now the furthest one back. Oh, you're dangling off the side, aren't you?
Yeah, just kind of chilling, hanging out, not doing a ton.
Watching all this other fun stuff go on.
Yeah, feeling left out.
Okay, what do you want to do?
So I'm gonna go ahead and get up. And
Okay,
then
make
I
me an
guess
athletics check.
no problem. That's +5. That's 20. Dirty 20.
Nice. Yeah, you have no problem. Roll me a d6.
Okay. D6. Okay. That's Spanish for 1d6, just so you know. I got a 1.
Oh, good. That's the lucky number. Nothing happens to you.
Yeah.
Flavor-wise, I'm going to say at this point, because you've essentially removed the largest threat. Let's say that Twest is still working on the keypad, and you're able to essentially dissuade the robot arms from attacking your newfound truce allies until they're able to make it up the rest of the stairs. So you guys, the Narbear, essentially assisting Rand, Hackthor, the rest of the way up, and Jocko and Dick Record ambling up the rest of the way. You're able to meet together, take one final look at the silo, and listen to the baleful, mournful cries of the Symphony of Thunks before finally leaving this nightmare behind you.
I go, hey, thanks for the help, friend, and I like your abomination too.
Oh, you're welcome. He, yeah, he's a beautiful, majestic creature that I created in my lab. Definitely gonna die of heart disease in like 3 days, but otherwise he's great. You mess with genes,
right.
you can't take only the good ones. You got the good and bad.
Very real. Okay, so these new friends of yours, if they're gonna have any hope of getting out of here alive, you know that there's so you Herbe, know that up ahead there's probably going to be one last fight between you and the exit. So it's probably prudent to take them to your lab where you can help give them a little bit of a pick me up before moving on. Because you have a lot of medical equipment there that could help kind of patch them up.
Yes, my auto combinator. Is that what this would be appropriate for this time? No. So yeah, would you like to come to my lab? I have some concoctions, some juices or elixirs of sorts that could help you guys out and help us together escape this madhouse. Does that interest you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could use it.
Okay, let's do that. Let's get this guy who's got a hole punched through him fixed up.
Okay, so so first of all, you have a lab set up, so you're pretty skilled in medicine. Actually, one of the things that gives you a bonus is that you're currently a member of the Guild of Recombinators, which gives you special access to their science and medical journals. And then also as a scientist, you have bonuses to your intelligence that helps with your skills as well. So you're actually a pretty potent healer, especially since you actually have a med kit and with your gene key, a mobile lab that essentially allows you to be able to test serums, do blood work, reproduce medications and other substances, and basically it's like you could basically set up in any room and basically set up your own hospital. But especially here with the laboratory of the Abattoir of the space station, you pretty much got it all set up. So
Right.
you can. So generally in Grimmerspace, on any given day, you can use medical equipment to make 2 healing checks using medicine to try and patch people up and heal wounds to their hit points. So for everyone here, you can make 2 attempts to use your medicine. And I'll say because of all the equipment you have a +5 bonus. And if you beat a DC 25, then you are going to be able to heal them. Let me see, how many hit points is it? You can heal them 5 hit points per 5 hit points per attempt.
Okay, so there's 3 people. I make 2 attempts per, so that's 6 rolls.
Yep.
And then I'm rolling for each one. What?
So you're
D20.
going to roll a d20.
Okay.
You're going to add. So you have 11 bonus, plus 11 bonus to medicine, and
Okay.
because of the lab you have here, you're going to get +5 to that. So you're adding 16, and you're trying to beat a 25.
Oh, okay. So every single roll beat 25.
Yeah. So on the dice, you want to get a 9 or higher.
Yeah, I got 13, 14, 15, 18, 16, 12. So
Hey.
all of them got above 25. I'm not going to get this ever again, am I?
Rolls like
This
that.
high.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that is legend. That's some pretty slick rolling.
This is the Google Dice Roller. Maybe the gods of Google are looking out for me.
Favorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for all of you guys, it seems like for everyone who's watching this man work, it seems like there was never any chance of failure. Obviously, he knows what he's doing. Immediately takes a quick look, sprays some flesh replacement onto your rib cage. Rand, Jocko, and actually Rand, if I recall, you actually got a pretty deep shoulder wound from on the previous session from Thrask biting into your shoulder with one of his buzz saws, and so he's able to spray that up, sew some tendons together. Let's see, Dick Record, you had some internal damage from a vacuum cone that was shoved down your throat, and so he's able to basically pour down some liquid that seals up your esophagus and prevents you from bleeding further. And then Jocko, you actually were probably, I think, the least damage out of everyone to start with. So basically, you've just got some scrapes and bruises, and he's able to apply some salve that essentially covers that up. And despite looking like a lumbering monstrosity, the Narbear is actually pretty adept as a lab assistant because he follows directions precisely. It is a little disconcerting. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, puts on little glasses, bifocals before he starts working.
That's sweet. It is a little disconcerting when you see him draw some of your blood work when he's running some tests, and then he takes that blood test tube and dumps it into what looks like a big pulsating lump of flesh that has eyeballs and teeth and stuff like that, and then it spits out some clear liquid that goes on a little goes in a little vial, and then you just hook it up to your personal comm unit, and it gives you all the test results. That part's a little gross, but in the end, it looks like he seems pretty efficient at his job. So everyone heals up to so the 3 of you guys heal up to 10 hit points each. And then depending on how long you want to stay here, so it first heals up hit points. I think anything remainder, if you have left, goes to stamina points. And then depending on how long you guys want to rest here, you can also recover some stamina points.
Yeah, I need all my stamina points back.
Same. Is there any way? I mean, can we are we safe? How long do we reasonably think we have? I doubt that thing is dead.
So Herbe Twest, you can relate to them that you have been holed up here for about 2 weeks.
Yes, I should communicate that.
Yeah, so given the security systems that you have in place, you have been able to essentially avoid being either detected or broken into.
Yeah, so I've been laying low here, guys, for a couple weeks. I have the security all set up so that I don't haven't been caught. Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to know about that?
Short rest.
What was that?
So we can take a
Yeah,
short
I
rest
definitely.
here.
Yeah, I definitely had a couple of questions about what was going on in this facility. It seems as though everybody's absolutely lost their mind except for you. Is there any way you can explain that, or have you figured it out?
Yeah. First things first. You can spend since you guys have 4 resolve points currently from your previous rest, you can spend a resolve point to get all your stamina points back in 10 minutes. Or if you want to save your resolve points, you can rest for 8 hours and get all your stamina points back. But it sounds like you guys would rather go for the 10-minute option.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyone who wants to can spend a resolve point and be back at full stamina points.
Done.
So in answer to the other question about how, what's been happening here, why is everyone crazy except for you? So Hugh, what you know, or what your character Herbe Twest knows is that about 2 weeks ago, something strange happened. You felt a weird impulse. You felt a weird impulse in your mind, like some thought that wasn't yours, and you felt like a lot of anxiety and aggression and some thoughts. You were able to recognize those thoughts early enough that you were able to give yourself a concoction that kind of counteracted that impulse. Basically, what you did was you made yourself so sick that you weren't able to act on those impulses until you were able to sleep it off. And then when you came out of it, luckily you locked yourself away and you were able to remain unbothered with your chimera standing watch until you were until you were able to get back on your feet. What you do know is that you don't have access to any of the security cameras, you don't know what's been going on outside, but you do know that there were quite a few times where you heard a bunch of scratching and scrabbling and banging on the door for people trying to get in, but you basically just didn't answer, and that worked pretty well for you. So you've been holed up here and haven't really been interacting with anyone else outside the station. You do recognize some people, but you haven't really you guess that a lot of them probably gave in to those aggressive impulses that you felt, or weren't able to resist them, and probably the result is what happened since then.
Okay, I relate that to everyone. I'm guessing that dark feeling has since passed.
It seems like it, because these guys are here. These survivors came afterwards, like within all these 3 guys have come within the last 24 hours, and they haven't experienced anything like that.
Okay.
The corkscrew is screwy. So
Yeah.
I think the sooner we get out of here, the better.
I agree.
What's
It's
our
stuck here
next
a while.
step? I'm trying to remember, Taylor, if is there like a ship attached to, what happened to our ship? These are things I'm struggling remembering because it was a couple
No
of
worries.
months ago.
Yeah. So you got here via slingshot ferry,
Mhm.
which was essentially launched into space in the general vicinity of Abattoir 8, and then when it reached a close enough vicinity, there was some magnetic locks that essentially drew your vessel in, and locked it in place. And you tried to get controls to relaunch yourselves back or launch somewhere else, and the controls were everything was under the control of the control tower, and you were unable to take that control back to yourselves. So your goal was to get to the control tower, uh, your eventual goal was to get to the control tower so you could either relaunch your ship or see if there was another way of getting off. The hallway so you guys are currently locked in a room that shoots off from a hallway that leads from the silo that you just left to the control tower. So you're basically just down the hall from where you're trying to get for better answers or an escape. Go ahead.
Yeah, I say we make our way to the control tower. Do you have any sort of surveillance that you've tapped into or eyes on, or are we essentially heading there as quickly and surreptitiously as possible?
So from what you know, the control tower has access and control to all the security cameras and footage and everything like that. So you haven't been able to log into that system. You haven't been able to see anything, but you do know from, your little forays out of your locked room to kind of see what's going on. There do seem to still be survivors that are in the control tower, but they don't seem to be sane enough to be helpful.
So we have to find our way into the control tower and figure it out for ourselves once we get in there.
Are there any computers in here that we could try? Any terminals?
There are some computer terminals. Do you want to see what you can do?
Yeah.
Make it quick. I say we head over there as quickly as possible.
All right, make me a computers check.
16.
Okay. So what you're able to verify is that, let's see. What you're able to verify is that the control tower has override access to the security camera footage, to the current live feed of the security cameras, to locking and unlocking the doors. Except this door seems to be on its own manual override. So that's probably the reason why the control tower people weren't able to get in here but they were able to get pretty much anywhere else they wanted. You are able to tell that basically all the alarm functions are going on. There's just wide alerts. Basically everything that can go wrong in the station is broken down, and so the control tower should be aware of those things, but they're choosing not to respond to it. And let's see. The hailing frequencies of essentially the ability to send messages from the Abattoir station and receive other messages is controlled by the control tower. There is a control over the over the magnet locks so you can see that launching your ship would be controlled by the control panel, and you're able to tell that there is also a shuttle that is docked at the control panel, so there's another vessel that could leave from there. So you're able to tell that all those things are basically, you see that all those things are options, but when you try to to access any of them, they all say that the total override is under the control of the control tower.
Okay. Is there any map function?
There is a map function. You can't alter any of the details like opening the doors or things, but you can see the full schematics of the station.
Okay.
You can tell from this that the control tower coming up is essentially 3 levels. It's again kind of cylindrical, but a much shorter cylinder than the silos that you're currently in. So you can tell that the hallway that you're in is going to lead to the middle level, and there will be an upper floor and a lower floor.
Okay. Do we have spacesuits, in case, something opened up into space? Would we survive, or would?
Yeah. Looks like you got a nice airlock there. Be a shame if something were to open it.
Yeah.
You do all have armor that is equipped with environmental protection. So technically, all of your spacesuit or all of your armor is spaceworthy. Even those of you that don't have helmets, your armor does have temporary, essentially little force fields that go around your head and keep the air in. They're pressure force fields. However, Jocko Willwink noticed during the rest at the end of last session that his armor had been punctured by your previous adventures, so his suit would need a repair before it would be considered space-worthy.
Jocko's does.
Bummer.
So we're considering EVAing?
I was just, you
No.
know, I want it as an option.
No, it's not an option. But yeah. Thoughts on next steps that don't involve an EVA?
Well, it looks like we can rush the main control tower. We can try and find an armory or something and get like grenades, maybe, or some other kind of weapons.
I don't remember seeing anything like that in the schematic.
Wasn't there an armory?
So when you guys first came in to the docking bay, you saw that there looked like what had been a last stand where there were some barricades, and it looked like people had tried to essentially protect themselves from possibly the other crazy people. And so that was where you found a bunch of melee weapons and some like bonding epoxy and fire extinguishers and stuff like that. So you did find those things. So it looks like if there is an armory, or if there was a collection of weapons, it probably got used for that last stand, and anything else that might have been from the armory probably was taken by whoever won that last stand. Good thought, good strategy.
Okay.
Yeah, I say we just head there. Now, I mean, we're on the control level. I would assume that they have some sort of surveillance on us, and that they can tell the difference between people that are acting intelligently and people that are trying to beat each other's brains out.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll let us in.
Yeah, if you give me some time, I could maybe make some explosives here, but other than that...
How much time?
I don't know. How much time would it make Taylor to make explosives? I get a +5 to my...
Yeah, you do have your destructive insight does allow you to do that, and there's pretty good materials here in the lab. I think if you and Herbe Twest worked together, I think you guys could probably come up with some powerful explosives.
Yeah, I can make that out of biological matter.
Yeah.
So Hugh, why don't you make me a life sciences check to create some kind of biological explosives, and then let's see, and then Rand Hackthor, why don't you make an engineering check to create the technological portion, like the fuse.
Okay,
And you do get that +5.
I got 16. I rolled 16 plus life sciences, which is 12.
I got a total of 17.
Okay, so we have a 17 for the trigger, and then a
28.
28
Yep.
for the biologics portion. So it seems like the explosive is pretty good. The trigger is going to be adequate, but a little bit jumpy.
Okay.
Don't like rub your feet on the ground and build up any static with that.
Yeah.
So who wants to hold on to the explosive?
I don't have great physical abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I might give it.
I have a good ranged.
Yeah, let's give it to Rand.
Okay. Any other preparations we can think of, or other conversation we want to have? This is going to be possibly the final showdown.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, I don't know what else to do.
Sure. I think building a bomb is pretty good. We also got to be careful that we don't accidentally destroy the controls that we're going to control tower to get. Herbe Twest, are you going to be able to join us for this raid?
Probably not. Yeah, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, I'm running low on time as well.
Sounds good. So it sounds like we'll do this final battle another time, and in the meanwhile, we'll figure out in the text group what day actually works.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I think that was pretty successful. How did you guys feel about this session?
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I look forward to the final battle. That'll be cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to get to know my guy's abilities more. He's got a lot of fun stuff he can do.
Honestly, I think having Hugh, I think having you join us to kind of patch up everyone is really helpful. But I think you'll also have a lot of fun with your character's combat abilities, especially with your chimera.
I'm excited.